everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we have so much Apple news to catch up to, especially after a long time not making videos. It's been longer. It's been really long, but I'm hoping to get back, especially because we have Techtober and Techtember coming up, and it's so close to the Apple event, and we have a lot to cover for the Apple event, especially some new releases and my thoughts on some of the releases. So if you're ready, subscribe, and I'm trying to get 100 subscribers by the end of the year. If you're excited, like, subscribe, let's get into it. Alright, so the Apple event, we are just inching closer and closer. We are approaching well into Techtember, and we have a lot to celebrate in Techtember, especially because, Apple releases. So let's get into some event dates. Now, we have heard a lot of rumors about event dates, and the most credible, or at least the most, solid date is the September 14th date. Now, this is a Tuesday. People are saying that it is going to be the week of the 13th to the 18th, and I think that's a pretty solid date, and that's going to be the date for the Apple event, and apparently pre-orders will be happening on Friday, September 17th, where you'll be able to pre-order everything. New iPhone, which we will be getting to later, and also the new AirPods will be coming on September 30th for pre-order, or release, I'm not sure, but we'll be getting to a lot of that. So I think September 14th is a really great date for that Apple event, but in terms of what's coming is quite of a big puzzle, because there are so many combinations. In my March video, I took so much time thinking about combinations. We even questioned an April event, which happened. We have a lot added, especially the new the new November events have been quite crazy, and maybe Apple's just gonna implement that. We've been hearing a lot of rumors about a November event, which I'll be getting to later, but really, September 14th, pre-order 17th for the iPhone 13 or 12s, I'm not really sure. So that's pretty much the dates that we are going for. Now, in terms of what the products are, I'm just giving a little bit of skeptical, because obviously so many combinations, but pretty much what's confirmed and what we can break down and put into the events are iPhone 13, AirPods 3, the new MacBook Pros, the iPad mini, the iPad 9th generation. There is so much we can put in events. There's been a lot of stuff, because not only have we heard rumors about September being 2 events there, we've heard, MacBook Pros coming in September, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous, but it's quite unlikely, that's for sure. But the number one thing that I think is, usually Apple typically does one event per month. I'm not really on 2 events, so that's my guess. 2 events is not really happening. I'd say it's like a 75% chance it's not happening, so that leaves 25% of room. So Wedbush analysts, whoever, you can guess where that will fall. But my guess is 2 weeks from now, less than 2 weeks, we'd get an Apple event on the 14th, just one event, and I guess that's it for September. But who knows? 2 events, that 25% chance is kicking in. So what is coming at the event is, my guess is AirPods, iPhone 13, Apple Watch, the regulars, maybe an iPad mini. Some people have been saying the iPad mini may land in that September rate. Not really sure, but maybe that just might seem like the case. But my guess iPhone 13, AirPods 3, Apple Watch Series 7, and the addition of a ninth gen iPad, possibly. But, October may be reserved for that, or I guess November, but I'd say October is my guess for all the other stuff, which we'll be getting to later for all the products that will be coming in there. But quite literally, that's it. iPad, that's 4 products. That's a lot of things that they need to cover. Maybe the event will be 2 hours. Who knows? But in terms of the products themselves, pretty much the iPhone 13, we've all seen it. The new orange color I'm really digging that color. That's a really nice color. What are your thoughts on that color? Because, I think it's really nice. And there's also some other colors for the Pro models, which are the gold, and that also looks good. It's a rose gold. It kind of reminds me of the iPhone 7 days where they had that kind of gold, but it looks quite similar to Mystic Bronze in the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. So I'm just saying it looks quite similar. We've seen a lot of images of that, and we cannot be sure because some people have been saying this is graphite in a different kind of light, and I can make that out, but I'm pretty sure this is a rose gold iPhone 13 Pro DVT model. But that image seems pretty solid. Maybe we'll see a sort of shade like that. I'm not really sure, but that's in terms of the colors. Now, in terms of the design, not really too much different. Now, the only thing is the camera setup. So now the camera setup will be the iPhone 13 will be having a sort of diagonal camera setup. It kind of looks like this. This figure looks very similar to this figure. So there's that. But it's going to be really much bigger, like super big. The iPhone 13, not so much in the 13 mini, which is also a question. And the iPhone 13 Pro is quite big. It's humongous. It's really great. It's really big compared to the 12 Pro. You can see it in the image. It is quite big. It's gonna pack a lot of features because not only do you get a lot of benefits for a bigger lens, because, well, that's gonna let more light in. It's going to be overall pretty much better for the iPhone's camera, especially because maybe night mode will be getting better on the other lenses. We saw last year it got really good on the ultra wide and the wide angle lens. But my guess is that we could be seeing a more of a portrait video. That's what most people have been saying. Portrait mode video. That's also a possibility on the 12 Pro and also new wide angle lens. So the regular wide angle lens is going to be, instead of f2.2, it's going to be f1.8. So the lower the aperture, the more light, which incredibly dramatically probably makes more light because there's more camera, there's a bigger lens. But generally the 13 and 13 Pro will probably be generally the same on the other one. I haven't really heard a lot of stuff on that part. But maybe that's just it. I'm fine with that. But I'm pretty sure Apple's going to flaunt it because there's also been some rumors about them filming at an undisclosed location that is for camera testing, and that's outside of Apple Park. And they're saying it's somewhere in California, so maybe in Big Sur, maybe in the Palace of Fine Arts. I'm just naming things where Apple could go, but they're probably gonna flaunt their cameras a lot at the event, so we'll see about that. But generally, the cameras are gonna be improved performance, especially because the A15 Bionic also allows that. And yeah, pretty much that's the case for most of the camera stuff. Not really too much there, but I think it's going to be a pretty great camera, and I think it's going to be really great. So now let's get to the actual front of the design. But the front is actually going to be getting a quite generally very needed design choice, which is to shrink the notch. So finally, after I guess 4 years, the notch is finally changing to be at least a little bit smaller. So I'm really happy about that. On the 13 Pro, there's going to be an LTPO display, which, if you don't know what that means, an LTPO display is when the refresh rate from either 60 hertz or 120 hertz is going to go down to 1 hertz when the screen is off, and then the screen will still be on, but it's going to be dimmed and it'll kind of save battery life there. So that's why that's what the LTPO display does. And we've seen this on the Apple Watch since the Series 5. It kind of just dims down and does nothing. And sometimes it blurs the background and then it shows the time, and it looks really nice on the Series 6. Well, maybe if we get closer to the RCs of iOS 15, we might see some always on display code. But yes, we're going to be seeing 120 hertz Pro motion refresh rate. I actually have it on my iPad Pro here. It is so buttery smooth, man. It's buttery smooth. It's really buttery smooth. Oh, I don't have any other pages, but it is really buttery smooth. You can see it. It's really great when opening apps. There, wow. It's really nice. It's really nice opening apps. It's just quite incredible on how 120 hertz displays work. And it's so smooth. So, yeah, that's basically on the front end. Now for the generally features in the inside, so there's going to be obviously a re-engineered Face ID, because obviously there's a smaller notch, so they might have to kind of reposition the dot projectors and kind of make them not sort of, they're just gonna have to make them shrink like a lot. But yeah, iPhone 13 is going to be a super great experience. I'm really excited. Let me know in the comments if I didn't actually put some features on there. I'm pretty sure I got everything, but let me know in the comments if I didn't get anything. But now let us move on to Apple Watch Series 7. Now there has been a lot of rumors about these. There's a new design, there's going to be a new chip. According to Mark Gurman, there's going to be a lot of stuff. But if you look at it from a perspective, there's not a lot coming up in here. It's basically an iPhone 12 upgrade. You know, it's like, is it a big upgrade? Not really. I mean, the iPhone 12 was kind of an S year, but they didn't go for 11S because, I don't know, that sounds terrible, but 12S kind of seems a little bit better, but I don't know at this point, but I'm just going with 13. At first I said 12S because, you know, the iPhone 12 was pretty big, but from a perspective, it is not really big. But pretty much the Series 7 is going to be the iPhone 12 of an upgrade. Pretty much directly what it is. New flat edge design. You've seen it in the renders. They look beautiful in that green. Oh my, would I love that green. That green is quite amazing. And yeah, so another thing on the inside is going to be the S7 chip. Now, the S7 chip is going to be a double-sided chip, which could mean for a bigger battery, which is actually the opposite of an iPhone 12, so can't really say anything there because the batteries on the 12 shrinked, but because of that double-sided design, you can actually get a bigger kind of battery because the chip is smaller because it's not like it's not taking up a lot of space. So yeah, so now they can put a bigger battery, which is already so good. The battery life on this lasts me a day, so I'm wondering what will that be. I guess that would be a day and a quarter? Day and 3/4, or even 2 days. That's just outrageous. Apple Watches, that's just out of this world. But yeah, technically the Series 7 is not an iPhone 12 upgrade, as I said before, though, but technically it is. So, also on the front, there's going to be a new size. So now that the bezels have shrinked a little bit by, uh, let me guess, 1 millimeter. Yeah, that's literally it. 1 millimeter. It's like this. Is it more small than this? It's really small, but apparently it's bigger by 1 millimeter. Now the sizes for the Series 7 will be a 41 millimeter and a 45 millimeter, which I guess is an incremental upgrade according to Apple. Apple just makes updates feel like it's out of this world. Like, whoa, we added a stronger magnet. This is outrageously great. Come on, Apple. Like, Apple's just. I'm just predicting stuff here. They're just gonna say this is revolutionary, that they have a bigger screen, but we'll see about that. Yeah, this actually happens because of a new lamination technique. According to Mark Gurman, there's a new lamination technique which allows them to kind of break the gap between the display, so then they can actually have smaller bezels, and I guess the display will be flat, so maybe the display will actually be a little bit thinner. Now, they also bulge on the bottom. I will actually have to show you that. Okay. Alright, the bulge on the bottom. You seen that? All the bulge is going to be getting smaller. And I guess that doesn't really matter, but that's pretty much all the features on the Apple Watch Series 7. Not so much, because Mark Gurman said that there's not going to be any health features, as those have been delayed. So I mean, I'm not really too bummed about that, but I mean, all of these Apple Watch features are really nice, and sometimes it may save people's lives. So I guess that's really great. Alright, so that's it for Apple Watch Series 7. Not a lot on that front, but it is some pretty exciting upgrades. Now let's get to AirPods 3, because this is, I guess, exciting, but also boring at the same time. So let's just get into it. So it's going to be basically the AirPods Pro. I don't have my pair right now, but in the renders it just doesn't look to be a little bit shorter. It looks just to be the exact same thing as AirPods Pro, but just not any noise cancellation and transparency mode. So you can actually snag a pair of AirPods until October 12th. So actually, if you want to get AirPods 3 and you're looking to get a new Mac, maybe no. You're not going to get it before the October event, which isn't even confirmed yet. So you'll be able to get AirPods, but the only thing, if you're getting a MacBook Air, I'd probably say get AirPods. But anyways, AirPods 3, they're I guess an incremental upgrade, and I have no problem recommending it to you, although I guess you should just buy Beats Studio Buds if you kind of see the compromises there. But I think AirPods are really great, and I hope they fix all of the problems. The noise leaking, that is just it just happens. So I'm just hoping it'll be at least somewhat better in a way. So I'm super stoked about that. But I guess that's going to be it. Oh wait, you saying iPads? Oh baby, it's iPad time. You know, the iPad. And I think I'm holding an iPad mini. No, I'm not. This is the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and in the renders it looks exactly the same, but if I can actually take this and remove the background right there, and then I can shrink it, it kind of looks the same. What's the point here, Apple? Are you just gonna toy around with us, or do something? So basically, the iPad mini is going to be having Touch ID, the new Apple Pencil support, although they're actually working on a smaller Apple Pencil. So this is the Apple Pencil second generation, and it's actually quite smaller than the first generation, so I'm guessing they can shave a couple millimeters off, so maybe this is the new Apple Pencil. And then the tip is there. That wouldn't look too bad. That wouldn't look too bad. Oh. Wanna see the magic? Hey. Oh gosh. Apple Pencils are really great, and I think the iPad mini would be a pretty great device. I mean, it would be a really portable and great device, and maybe there's going to be some design tweak. Who knows? Because in the alleged CAD renders, there's actually, and also in the real life images, there's the power button. Maybe because they're going to make the Apple Pencil, so maybe they're going to fit the Apple Pencil on the iPad mini, so they're not going to actually make a new Apple Pencil. So maybe they're going to move the the volume rockers to the top. They're just gonna try to fit in the power button right here, but maybe they might have an Apple Pencil for iPad mini, but it's just gonna be one niche, so I guess they can boot for the iPad Air. And if you want a smaller Apple Pencil, which I find no interest in myself, because I really love the Apple Pencil. This thing is so good. This thing is really good. I mean, this thing is buttery smooth. That's some drawing there. That's a really great drawing there. Yeah, but I think the Apple Pencil will be the exact same. That's why they're moving the volume rockers to the top. And I think that's going to be a pretty great iPad. My volume, my... So yeah, the Apple Pencil probably fit there. It's probably because they're going to move the volume rockers to the top. And I think that's going to be the same thing. USB-C, charging. I don't see anything that's not going to go. Maybe the dual speakers will be gone. And I think the price is going to be actually hiking by maybe $100 at the most, $150 at the most. I'm not really sure, but maybe that's just going to be the case, because obviously the redesign, it's pretty great. It's pretty hefty. It's pretty great. So yeah, I think those are pretty solid features. New, I guess, new redesign, and I think that's going to be pretty solid. So that's it. Oh, what did I hear? That's not it. Oh right, the iPad, the iPad. Let's talk about that. Well, rumors say that there's going to be a laminated display. Finally, I mean, I don't really see anything bad with a non-laminated display, although it kind of just looks awkward. But yeah, the laminated display is going to be happening with a 10.5-inch screen, and oh, spoiler alert, it's a literal iPad Air 3 carbon copy. There you go, guys. That's literally it. A12 chip. Same A12 chip. Nothing. Maybe an A13. That's what rumored. And that's it. From a 10.2-inch screen to a 10.5-inch screen. That's it. But yeah, that's pretty much the Apple lineup. I'm not sure but let me know what I missed, because I probably missed a lot of stuff. So, that's gonna be it for Apple events. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I guess we should get to a rapid news flash now, so here we go. According to an Apple Weibo account sharing profile on Twitter, Kang, he shared an image of a sticker packaging leak which allegedly shows the iPhone 13 naming. Oh, and from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman via his Power On newsletter from last Sunday, he shared that Touch ID under the display has been scrapped, and they will stick to Face ID. And also, Apple's looking to increase the price of iPhones due to the production costs of new chips, which means bad news, really bad news. Apple's also testing a new Face ID hardware, which works with masks and foggy glasses with a little tiny case thingy that's supposed to improve Face ID and bypass the mask and foggy glasses, which is good. According to Mark Gurman, there's also some fun little filters coming to the iPhone 13, which are supposed to improve the quality of photos. And there's also global millimeter wave support, which is also cool too with the iPhone 13. Alright, let's talk about the Macs. So, the Macs have been. Oh gosh, this is a sad story for the Mac. Okay, so if hypothetically the Macs did not have mini LED displays, they would have been already released. And if Apple already got to their production limits, which were heavily delayed, really much due to the pandemic, and wait, I'm not allowed. Very much due to circumstances that don't allow them to actually make these mini LED displays. And now they're ramping up production. They are literally investing billions of dollars to invest so then they can finally get their mini LED technology. You might be saying, when could be we seeing it? They're going to hold it on October 12th or 19th. It's pretty much October 19th. In years past, it was on the, I guess, 3rd or 4th week of October, so there's your chance of getting an actual MacBook Pro with your new AirPods 3. So that's out the door. But the new MacBook Pros have been heavily awaited. I'm really excited for them. Obviously, these are really great. They kind of, it's kind of reminiscent of the original, the OG, the thing that actually had ports. My 2015 MacBook Pro had the exact same ports rumored. So if you like those, I'd totally. This is like the ultimate computer for pros, especially because, well, a lot of ports, a lot of performance with M1X. We have a lot to talk about. So yeah, MagSafe charging, HDMI port, SD card slot, a lot of USB-C ports. I believe it is 3 USB-C ports, and a headphone jack, because Apple still keeps around the headphone jack, because obviously it's for pros, but there's no headphone jack on the iPad Pro, which is also being utilized as a pro device, because it has pro in its name, and I don't see any headphone jack here. But pretty much the M1X MacBook Pro is a reincarnation of the 2015 MacBook Pro. I'm just gonna say it here. Here I said it. Here I said it. It's a reincarnation of a 2015 MacBook Pro, and I guess the display will have much less bezels, and they're going to be removing the MacBook Pro naming on the front, but I'm just saying this is a reincarnation of a 2015 MacBook Pro, because you know what? The writing of the MacBook Pro naming on the front, oh, that's also gone. That was also gone. So my inkling is that this is a literal oh, okay, I said it before, but it's the exact same. So basically, a 14-inch display on the new on the old 13-inch MacBook Pro, because the bezels are getting absolutely thinner, and we'll have a bigger display for all the pros who needed that, and that's really great. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. And the new keyboard in the renders are going to be having a illuminated Touch ID button, kind of like the new iMac, the new full-size keyboard with absolutely full function keys, which are great, and the touch bar is gone. I tried out a touch bar in the Apple Store on the MacBook Pro. I was like, well, I'm so not familiar with touch bars, and it's a cool concept, but then when you're left puzzled not knowing where the controls are, and I guess you can turn them into function keys, but just put the actual keys. I'm just gonna say it there. Just put the actual keys back. I think it would be nice. Just put the actual keys back. I think it'll look pretty okay. So yeah, that's going to be the 14-inch. Now for the 16-inch, all the exact same magic, all the beautiful finishes and stuff. And for this, it's still going to remain 16 inches. But I would love to see a return of the 17-inch MacBook Pro because, I mean, they look good. Not only are you getting a smaller form factor, but you're still getting the same display. That's just really good because now you have bigger function keys, and maybe it'll be the same size as a 15-inch or even the same size as the old 15-inch MacBook Pros, or even smaller. It maybe they're just the same size because of that display getting super small. Just still have a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, 2560 by 1600. So I think that'll be pretty great. So yeah, the MacBook Pro will be incredibly exciting, especially the new space gray and silver finishes. Those are really nice. I saw them in the renders. They look absolutely fire. I'd say they look really great. So that's the 16-inch MacBook Pro and the 14-inch MacBook Pro. But we also have another thing. Another mini product, not the iPad mini, is the Mac Mini. Now we've been seeing a lot of renders of this, and they look absolutely incredible. They look like just like the old plastic Mac Minis, but except the actual aluminum chassis that's still staying the same. But it's going to be having sort of a, the iMac front. The iMac front has a glossy kind of finish. I think that's going to be the top, and it's kind of just reminiscent of the 2006 plastic, or no, 2009 and 2006 Mac Minis that look, I'd say, pretty arguably better. No, I like the aluminum design. But yeah, that's going to be the Mac Mini in terms of design, and all the I/O ports, just there, all the ports you love. That's basically what the 16-inch MacBook Pro is. A Mac Mini, but a MacBook Pro. But yeah, the Mac Mini is generally staying the same, but obviously we have to talk about the M1X processor because really, literally, quite literally, this is the Omega processor. Forget M1. No, M1 is just super powerful, but this is like the incredible. This is where Apple Silicon reaches its absolute peak in its thing, and then that's pretty much there. So M1X, what will that be? Well, it will have a 10-core CPU with a 12-core GPU, and that's just really great performance. The M1 has a 7-core CPU and an 8-core GPU as a base model, and you can get an 8-core and 8-core. But this one will have a 10-core, which is a 20% increase. No, it's 2 cores more, and then the core performance will actually be a little less than double. So that's 4 more cores on the part of the GPU. And that's just really great because a lot of people have been complaining about M1X's performance, especially because of, the graphics performance isn't really too great. So maybe this would be Apple's kind of introduction to real graphics performance power. Maybe it'll be on par with Radeon graphics that replaced it in the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Like this is going to be powerful. This is no joke, but quite literally this thing is going to be a mad powerhouse, but it runs so efficiently, which is just mind-blowing because imagine M1 rivals Intel Core i9. Not in a way, but in a way, because of how optimized macOS is for M1 processors, and it's just incredible of what M1 can do. And especially M1X, because imagine this M1 rivals Intel MacBook Pros, 16-inch MacBook Pros to be specific. So, what will M1X be? Well, quite literally, it might be even 2 times faster than that. That's really great. So, yeah, that's just really great. So yeah, M1X is going to be really, really cool, especially because it's going to be the peak of Apple Silicon. So, if you're excited for that, let me know in the comments down below. And I think that wraps it up. If I missed anything in this, please just put in the comments. I know I miss a lot of stuff when it comes to Mac stuff, especially because I haven't done anything in 2 months. So let me know in the comments down below, and I think that wraps all of it up. So thank you guys so much for watching. So if you guys like to see more of this content, especially because of so many coverage of Pixel 6, so much other tech coming next month and then month after. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.